Welcome to the Financial Battleship call. This call is for Module 12, Lifelong Investing Success. My name is Kristen Kolka, and as always, I am joined today by Teresa Kuhn. Hello, Teresa.
Thank you, Kristen. Happy to be here. Welcome, everybody, to the Financial Battleship call for today. Excited to be here and excited to help you change your financial life. And really, that's what BFS is all about, is to change your life in general. And finances are just a really, really important part of everyone's life. So, Kristen, we're going to talk about some frequently asked questions about the Battleship plan that we get all the time.
That's right. And this is actually part 2 of our series on frequently asked questions. And today's call is all about an important feature of the Financial Battleship policy. And that is the self-financing feature, or the ability to take loans against the cash value portion of the policy.
That's correct. And that is probably, if we were to rate the most popular features of the Financial Battleship plan, that's got to be part of the top 5, I would say. Wouldn't you?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. So, Teresa, how does a policy loan work? What do when you first start your Financial Battleship policy, can you take a loan right away? What is the process in terms of being able to borrow against your policy?
Well, let's start at a very high level and talk about loans with a policy without getting into specifics, and then we can get a little bit more detailed. So basically, when you've got cash value in the policy, you're able to borrow close to 90% of that cash value for anything that you want. So to get more specific, though, to say, part of the questions that we get asked is, well, can I borrow, what computes the cash value? And if I start the policy today, how quickly can I take money out? Or do I have to build it up for years? And what happens to the death benefit? Can I borrow from the death benefit? It's really about the cash value, and the beginning part of these policies, at the beginning of time with these policies, it's what we call the capitalization period of time. And you've got to feed the policy before it can feed you. You've got to serve the policy before it can serve you. And it's no different than when you, went to school and invested in your education, or when you buy real estate, or when you invest in your business. There's a period of time where you're kind of upside down, right? So, Kristen, you went to college, you have a finance degree, and you invested a lot of money up front, not knowing when you were going to get a return, right?
That's true.
And so what happened over time with your finance degree? Did you get all that money back?
I would say I've had my degree for a couple of years now. I think I'm getting to the point where I'm almost positive. I've almost gotten a positive return on that investment.
And so you had to pay for the education first, and now that education is going to serve you for the rest of your life, right? Hopefully. That's the expectation anyways, right? And so the policies work the same way. And in the early stages, you're putting more money into the policy than you're going to be able to get out. But day one, year one, you can literally borrow 90% of the cash value from the policy for any reason, anytime. There's no application, no credit checks. As long as you've got cash, you can get the loan. So, Kristen, why don't you share how the loan works in terms of why the insurance company would lend you money, and probably the number one most exciting feature of the policy, which is the uninterrupted compounding part of the cash value, even though you've taken a loan out.
Right. So when you think about taking a loan from your policy, you can think about your policy and the insurance company as having two separate departments. So on the one hand, you have your policy that you're paying premiums into, and you have your cash value that's liquid, you have your death benefit. On the other hand, the insurance company is using those premiums to invest. And they're invested mostly in AAA-rated corporate bonds. And when they are profitable, those profits come back to the insured, the policy owners, as a dividend. Now, when you ask the insurance company to borrow against your policy, they are going to make sure you have enough cash value, and they are collateralizing that loan against the death benefit. But the actual funds for that loan come from their pool of investable money. So since they no longer have that money to go out and earn a profit with, they do charge an interest rate for the loan. Now, on the flip side of that, because the money has not come directly from your own policy values, the insurance company continues to pay a dividend on your full cash value, including any outstanding loan balances, as if you never touched your policy at all.
Thus, uninterrupted compounding. Now, think about that for a moment. Think about if every dollar you ever put into a savings account or investment account, you still had that power of compounding on your behalf, right? Wouldn't that be powerful? Well, the financial battleship plan can do that for you. It's just a matter of putting the money into the policy first so that you can have your dollars working harder for you than really any other account out there. It's not an either or. Like, you don't have to decide, okay, I've got this dollar and I'm either going to put it into the policy or go invest it or go put it into my business or go buy a car or go pay for college or go pay for retirement. It's, I've got the dollar in the policy and I can still use it and have it work for me inside the policy. So powerful. Absolutely so powerful. And Kristen, talk about how it's only very specific companies that give you the ability to have that uninterrupted compounding. It's not every company that does it. And in fact, it's very few companies that have that feature inside of their policies.
Right. That's very true. And I think that's an important point to bring up because as this strategy becomes more and more popular, there are a lot of insurance agents and insurance companies that claim to be able to structure their policies the same way. And we see that in many cases, we have, people come to us for a second opinion on their policy. And the biggest thing that they're usually missing is this feature. It's called non-direct recognition. Only a few insurance companies offer it. And policies sometimes have to be structured a certain way to even have the feature on them. So it's really important to make sure that when you start a policy, that you have that feature and that you're working with an advisor or an agent that understands how to properly design the policies and the insurance companies to work with to make sure that you have that non-direct recognition feature.
And we've made the comparisons between the non-direct recognition policies and the direct recognition type of policies. And we've looked at the numbers, and it's hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially different that is not in your pocket, is not in your policy if you're working with the wrong company. And for that reason, one of many reasons, I think Business Finishing School has partnered with us to be your financial battleship provider. So, looking at the next part of the loan process, a question we get asked often is, all right, so what are the terms of the loan? How do I have to pay it back? When do I have to pay it back by? How much do I have to pay it back? And it's really funny because our clients that ask us these questions, they're still thinking traditional loans. And when you take a loan from your policy, you actually become the banker. You become the finance company. You set the terms. You're in control. So if you want to set your policy up or your loan up where you're not paying it back for a period of time, you may not have to. If you're setting it up where you'd like to pay a certain amount every single month for a certain period of time, you can do that. We've got clients, for example, that borrow $50,000 for a car and they decide, all right, I want to pay this off for the next, in the next 3 years, because in 3 years, I want to get a new car. And so they set up their payment schedule that way. We also have clients who say, you know what? I want the payments to be as low as possible. Let's finance it over 5 years. It is so flexible. Again, you are in charge. You set the terms. You set the payback schedule. You set it up where if you want to pay yourself extra interest, you can do that. And one other thing that I will mention, and Kristen, this is a point of confusion for many people when we tell them because they can't wrap their brain around how this could possibly work. But most times you mentioned that the insurance company is charging an interest, right, based on the Moody's seasoned corporate bond rate. And so they're thinking that the policy is going to cost them. But how it's set up with a non-direct recognition benefit, the out-of-pocket cost or the actual cost of the loan is either negligible, it's interest cost neutral, or you're actually making more money in your policy than you're paying in interest.
Right. And I think that's one of the most fun parts about our job, Teresa, is when we have a client that takes a loan from their policy the first time, that shift that happens in their thinking about financing items, right? They're so used to the traditional way. They're so used to, okay, I'm going to take this much money. What's my payment? Tell me what I'm supposed to do. They're so used to thinking in terms of this loan is going to cost me money because I'm being charged interest. And once they really wrap their minds around how the loan works, that they're really in control, and that taking that loan from their policy is not like a traditional debt, and they're growing their cash value at the same time, they're recapturing the cost of borrowing that money in their cash value. It's like a light bulb goes off in their head, and they wonder, why isn't everyone doing this?
And we wonder the same thing. Why isn't everybody doing this? Because it's just so incredibly powerful. And yesterday I spoke to a prospect who literally reached out to us back in 2010. He had not forgotten about us. And he said he had been thinking about us the last 3 months. He's getting ready to retire. And he had regret. He was like, I should have started this 10 years ago, but I'm ready now. And so don't let that be you. Just have the conversation with us and see if it's a good time to get started. There's so many amazing benefits. Today, we wanted to address one of the most frequently asked questions, the loan question. How do the loans work with the policies? What can I do with the loans? And we'll have many more FAQs coming up in our future financial battleship calls. But, really reach out to us. You can go to our website, livingwealthyfinancial.com, email us at info@livingwealthyfinancial.com, reach out to Business Finishing School to have them introduce us, whatever it takes, just reach out to us. We will figure out whether this is a good time for you to start or just answer any questions you might have.
That's right, Teresa. Thank you so much for everyone that joined us on the call today. And thank you so much, Teresa. This is great information.
Thank you, Kristen. And we're happy to do this for the Business Finishing School community. Really, really grateful to be here. Have a great day, everybody.